Hello, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me in another of my pipe smoking videos. I'm sitting here again by the air seat, warming myself up. Autumn is fully upon us. It's very mild though here in Britain, down on the south coast. Very mild indeed, although it's a little bit chillier today, I think because we've had a blue sky. Do feel a bit bad that I haven't been to the farm today, our little piece of God's earth, if you like, because we've been there for quite a bit this week, and today was a bit of a day off of doing other things and chores, and suddenly the weather is very nice. Going to smoke my pipe, of course. I have here a Parker pipe, I think this is, and it's just called Parker Lord. Made in London, it says. I don't know whether that's true or not, but there we are. And I'm going to smoke not Peterson's Irish mixture, which I have in this tin, at least it's labelled up that way. This is Wilson's of Sharrow, and it's called Enigma. I just put it in this tin because I don't like the government health messages. And it's got a nice, deep, rich aroma. It's a bit toffee, I suppose. I've been enjoying Three Noggins recently, which I think is very much an English blend with no flavourings and stuff. But this is quite moist, and it does have a little bit of flavouring in, but it's actually very nice. It's a very nice, mild pipe smoke. And I think I will get more of this. You know when you stumble across some and you go, yep, that's one to repeat. And others, I'm still searching for the what do they call it? The I forget the word. You know, the wonderful one. There was a word. I think they used to smoke it in what did they call it in Three Men in a Boat by Jerome K. Jerome. Whatever that was, I think it was sort of the bliss of pipe smoking. I'm not sure. Maybe I've got that wrong. Maybe I'm making it up. Who knows? Let's just straighten that up a bit. It's been a busy week. As I say, we've been on the farm quite a bit, and that's been very pleasurable and very busy. And of course, you can keep up with all Julia and I, Julia and is it Julia and me? You can keep up with Julia and me, yes. Our escapades on the English Couple channel, and the link is in the description. All right, let's light this up. What about that? Beautiful. I do like this time of year, except for the cold days, the short days. I don't mind the rain on the farm, on our bit of land, because you can put wet weather gear on and you can just get on. And we're building a little workshop so that we can be out of the rain and do stuff in which it doesn't matter if it's raining out there. And we've almost completed it. And of course, as I say, you'll be able to see its completion in the English Couple programme. I'm still using this rather lovely tamper. I've got tampers now all over the place of different shapes and sizes, from nails to coach bolts to proper tampers on a chain that Chris Herriot very kindly gave me, to bits of brass that I forget where he said that came from, like the cistern of or something, I can't remember now, of a public loo or something. Anyway, it's all good. Still haven't found my other lighter. And that was a Peterson's lighter. I can't think that I've dropped it, lost it that way. It's got to be here. People have been so generous helping us out in lots of different ways. So I want to say a big thank you to Neil, who today drop round. I mean, he drops round the kindling for my Essie, which is very kind. And that's very generous of him anyway. But he said, oh, you know, I've been watching your videos on the land. And I've dropped round. I want to bring round this piece of, I don't know what you call it, garden border thing that he made up. It's a wooden thing. You put it in the ground. Because we want to put in, well, Julia's not keen on them, but I want to put in some rhubarb. And I like rhubarb, and I want to sort of contain it. Not that I think it sort of, you know, is invasive as such, but it'd be nice to sort of have an area and go, this, effectively you're going, this is the rhubarb area. And he used it for his strawberries. And he said, I don't need it anymore, it's just sitting around, you're very welcome to it. So we'll take that up to the farm, you'll see it in action. I've got logs here, look. They can go in. So that was very kind. And then he came in with some tools in the toolbox. And it's so nice, you know, it's just so nice. People have been very generous. We went to see a chap called Graham in the week. And he's got a lock-up. And he's got all sorts of lovely bits in there. Some bits he's keeping, some bits he's getting rid of. And he said, you know, I can see you benefiting from some of these things. And we said, well, that's just so generous and so kind. And we're very, very grateful. I have to say, we are very grateful for all of this. We don't take it for granted by any means. So there's a lovely worktop bench, which I can't really show you because it's packed away at the moment. But that will be made into a bench for our workshop. And you can put a vise on it and, you know, you can do things on it. It's a lovely bit of wood. He's a a furniture maker. And he knows his bits of wood. We've got a lovely piece of oak, which if you looked at it, you'd just think that's a dusty old bit. But it'll make a lovely coffee table or even a big sign or something. It'll polish it up. It's a lovely bit of oak. You know, a slice, like a board, but in an unusual shape. So we're very thrilled to have that. And he also, there was a number of little things, but he also gave us a stove. And today, it was in a bit of a rusty old condition, but perfectly fine for, you know, going, just dusty really, more than rusty. And it so happens, the other day I was cleaning the Essie and I found my stove black. And I thought, I wonder what it would look like if I put some stove black on this stove. Well, I can tell you it's come up really nice. I sent it, put a picture up. So I did that today. So once we've filled in all the gaps and we've got the thing complete and the door and everything locks and things, we'll install the wood-burning stove. It's very heavy, even though of its size. Cast iron, you see. And we'll get that installed and we'll be able to warm up the place, which will be lovely, because it's going to get cold, isn't it? Even on these mild days where it's sort of 13 degrees, you know, that chill factor still gets in. I did feel a bit earlier, I felt, you know, a little bit on the chill side. So I thought I'd like the Essie and made myself a hot lemon and cayenne pepper, which gives it a nice old kick. So I sort of have a little bit of that. And I even nipped down to the corner shop, a tiny little flask, tiny little bottle of whiskey. Don't drink much of it, but sometimes when you're feeling, you know, the damp creeping in, you just have a little toddy of that. It would be lovely. So, you know, you've got to look after your health, haven't you, in these cold days, because it can creep up on you without you knowing, especially when you're outside a lot. And Julia and I are outside quite a bit. So that's interesting. Somebody made a comment, and I thought I would comment on the comment, but not in the comments, but here, because I thought it was an unusual comment. I've not heard this. So he said, what's with all the tamping all the time? People are tamping their pipes. And I think what he was saying is, you know, you're crushing down the tobacco and making it harder and harder to keep going. Whereas he said, if I've got this right, you give it a stir. Now, I've never heard that before. I've never seen anyone do that. And I suppose that's to sort of keep it aerated. But it didn't seem to make much sense to me, so I'm afraid I'm sticking with the tamping. Just very lightly. You don't ram it in as if it was a piston or something. None of that nonsense. But if anyone knows, whether stirring it up is a good thing, be interested to hear is what's your tamping etiquette or routine? It'd be fascinating to learn that. So anyway, we've been very busy on the land. The books have been selling well, quieting down a bit now. So if you are after Biggleswick, the town that wouldn't comply, my book, it is ready. And you can just email me, richard@vobes.com. There's still a chance to get it in before Christmas, And if you've got a friend, and I sign them, and it is nice. My friend Neil came round, and he said he did like the physical object as well. He said a lot of people, they go and he's got books that he's bought from online print-on-demand places, one of which named after a large river. And he said they're all right, but sometimes they don't open very well. There's not the same tactileness of a proper cloth-bound, stitched, glued with a dust cover. And so he was very complimentary about that. And I'm so thrilled because it was a concerted effort to get the books so they felt right. So that was nice. And somebody else emailed me and said they read the book and they loved it. They said it was funny, it was heartwarming, it had interesting truth things in it. And he went on to tell me about one particular scene and one character that he particularly enjoyed. Now I don't want to say what that is because that would not ruin the story, but it's a moment in the book. And actually that was one of my favourite parts to write. One of. Well, definitely up there in the sort of top 3 scenes to write in the book. So I very much I think it was Rob who said that. I may have got that wrong. So that was really nice to hear. It's great to hear feedback. I do a podcast every morning. Sometimes I do them in the evenings now, but I usually do it in the morning. And it's called The Naked Englishman. And it's not on any podcasting channel. So, I'm one of those people that make things very difficult for people to get hold of. It's like the book isn't on the online retailers. You won't find it anywhere other than from me. So you have to know about it, which won't make me a rich man by any means. And the podcast, The Naked Englishman, is only available at nakedenglishman.co.uk. And you have to go to the website and you have to click on the link and you can either stream it there and then, or you can right-click on it and download it and listen to it later on. But you see, it's about, for me, trying to not use these platforms that the herd go on. I was watching Father John in his last video. And if you're watching Father John, please make more videos. We do enjoy them. He has some very interesting points. And I just like his sort of everyday burbling. I think because we're on the land now and he's on the land, and it is great to see. I'm not on the land now. I mean, we're having to visit the land. But he was saying in his last video, he's gone analog. And I'm so proud of him, really, because we're in the same boat. Obviously, we have to use technology now to get the message out, but you don't have to completely sell out to these big corporations. I'm done with them. They're faceless. They don't sign off. You never get a letter from them with a signature on. It's all typed, it's all by email. You can't ring them up. You can't talk to somebody who's on your side. It's all very impersonal. The humanity on so many of these, well, these big businesses have gone. I'm sure they start off with the idea that they are there to serve and offer an interesting product and what have you. But as they get bigger, you become a number, you become less important. There's thousands, millions of customers. You're just a blip. It doesn't matter if they piss you off. They can get shot of you, cut you off, treat you badly. And there comes a point, doesn't there, when you just think, do you know, I've had enough. I've had enough of this. The contracts that you sign, like with mobile phones or the utilities, are all one-sided. They're supposed to be agreements. And an agreement is made with both parties agreeing to the terms. And so if you don't agree with something, you amend it and you go, well, I don't agree with that, I'm going to put this. But these utility contracts are not like that. These agreements are, this is your mobile phone. If you want the rates that we're offering you and the prices we're offering you, you have to agree to our terms. It's not a two-way thing at all. And I don't like that. I don't like that level of control and, that there's no humanity. You go over by a day. It's like parking. Parking's another one. I know I'm sort of falling into the trap of talking about this stuff that I talk about on my other channel. But parking is another thing, isn't it? There was a time when you could appeal to the parking, the yellow peril, as we used to call them, the traffic wardens. You run back and you're 5 minutes late. And you say, oh, I'm so sorry. And they say, oh, don't worry. It's 5 minutes. What harm is done? Now you're 5 minutes over and well, if you don't pay, it's £100. If you pay within so many days, we'll half it to £50 or whatever the rates are. And we're all growing up now with this sort of mentality. Where's the harm? Where's the harm? I was a little bit, and you think, okay, let's say it was, I don't know, £1 an hour. I put £1 in and I've gone over by 5 minutes. So they'll say, well, it's 100 quid unless you pay within the next 3 days, that's 50 quid, fine, penalty. And in the old days, they said, well, I'll just give you the £1 for the extra hour I've gone into then. And that would have made sense, wasn't it? I'm sorry, I've gone over 5 minutes. Okay, I'll pay up to the next hour. And that's generosity. It's not like I'll pay for those 5 minutes of the hour and it's equivalent. Let's say that's, I don't know, 15p. There you go, there's 15p for it. No, you're even being more generous by saying, well, I'll pay for the extra hour, even though I'm only using 55 minutes of it. But that's not enough. No, it's a penalty now for 50 quid. And if you don't pay within the very short space of time they give you, they've doubled it. And then if you don't pay that, you've got people banging on the door. And the fee's gone up to £300, thank you. And the rest. And you think, that's just for parking for 5 minutes over. So I don't like these big corporations because they don't have my interests at heart. That's why I love to promote family-run places and small services. Small is beautiful. And that's why I wanted my book to look the way it is. And that's why I try to avoid the platforms. I have to put my videos on YouTube because that's where the audience is. And it is prohibitively expensive to run a server yourself, putting up your own videos, and who would ever see them? And the kind of videos that, I'm making with the pipe smoking here, it's just a chat to you. They're absolutely not important. They're completely irrelevant. The fact that anybody watches a bloke in his 60s sitting by his wood-burning stove, smoking a pipe, in a way, is beyond me. But I enjoy watching others who smoke their pipes, waffling about nothing in particular, because it's that nothing in particular It's that everydayness, or perhaps the spirituality, or the common sense, or just, you know, bits about life that I find far more interesting than learning about stuff on the other side of the world, which is worrying and I can do nothing about. I'd much rather have a chat, you know, listen to somebody for 10, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever, talking about their passions and things that are important to them. And that might include blends of tobacco, types of pipes, you know. I think that's, again, it's not being following the herd, is it? There are some YouTube channels everybody watches, you know, huge numbers of people watch. I'm not interested. Probably the smaller the better, really. Just honest people doing honest things. This Enigma is really good, by the way. I found that Wilson's of Sharrow's tobaccos are very nice. I'm sure that they've been bought out, probably by a big conglomerate again, which of course is happening everywhere. And I would like to see more. I know people would say, well, tobacco's run its course, it's, you know, it's a dying thing, very few people do it. I think there are more pipe smokers out there now than perhaps 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I think there is a bit of a revival. People have learnt to slow down a bit, to sit, meditate, cogitate, think. Discover what's important to themselves, and sometimes, you know, it's not the things that everybody tells you, that the media want you to think about. Sitting there meditatively, doing little, doing menial tasks, in the silence sometimes, you know, not listening to others. Listening to yourself, getting your own gut reaction to things, becoming one with life. You see, life itself, I think, is not all, you know, all that glitters isn't gold. That's not life, is it? All that glitters. It's a very, I'm just looking to see how long I've done, quite a bit. It's a very personal, wonderful thing. Sorry about the humming sound, that's my fridge. I have many times sat here, done a video, turned the fridge off before I filmed, raced upstairs to get the video ready and up, forgotten to turn the fridge back on. And as a consequence, I found everything's starting to defrost. So these days, if I do, and I forgot to do it this time, if I do turn the fridge off, at the beginning of the video, before I say hello and welcome to the channel, that I just say to myself, fridge. And then when I'm upstairs, I hear myself saying to myself, fridge. And then I stop and I race down and turn the fridge on. I haven't got to do that this time. Anyway, I've waffled, you've listened, I appreciate it. I hope we can reconvene next week for more unessential conversation about nothing in particular. I hope you've enjoyed a little puff of your pipe with me. It's lovely to know, even though it's time removed, that you're sitting there enjoying a relaxing pipe, wherever you may be, however you watch, at the same time, thinking, what is that bald bloke with glasses going on about? Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I will catch up with you next time. Till then, pit pipe, happy piping, and what's the one that Ed says? Can't remember now. It's gone. Never mind. Oh yeah. Doodle pipe. Bye for now. That is a very loud hum.